Good morning, boys and girls. I'm glad to be with you today. We have our lesson 128 this morning, and I hope you have lesson worksheet 128 with you. We're going to fill that out together, and I'm going to show you today how to add positive and negative numbers. So it's really cool. We're going to use our number line just like we've been using on our lessons that we've been doing the last couple of days. So let's see how we're going to do this today. We're going to use the same two numbers for our first four problems, but with those two numbers, we're going to sometimes have positive numbers, sometimes negative numbers. So for our first number line here, we're going to show 2 plus 6. Now you know 2 plus 6 because we've been doing these the last few days. So we start on 0 all the time when we start on our number line. That's where we begin. And then we go from 0 to 2, drawing our arc with our arrow. That shows our 2. Then we go 6 more segments or units on our number line. And let's make a dot on them as we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we can see that 6 more units would be 8. So we write 2 plus 6 equals 8 right here. So you can see this is the 2 and this is the 8 more. The 6 more, sorry. Not the 8 more, the 6 more. So I'll write 6. 2 plus 6 equals 8. Now, let's do the second one. We're still going to use 2 and 6, but now we're going to use a negative 6. Watch. 2 plus negative 6. Wow, that looks strange, doesn't it? Well, let's see what it equals using our number line. Now remember, we start on 0. Make a dot on 0. Then our first number is 2. That's positive 2. So we have to make an arc from 0 to 2, and then we make our arrow. Now, on a number line, when we say negative, that means we go left on the number line. Instead of up on the number line, we go down on the number line, or to the left. But remember, we have to start from where we left off. And we left off on our number line right here, where our arrow is. Right? So we're going to count backwards 6, and I'm going to make 6 black dots to show you that we're counting backwards 6 units. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we go from our arrow where it left off and we make our arc all the way down to where it ends, which is negative 4. Look at that. 2 plus negative 6 equals negative 4. And a lot of you really enjoy adding and subtracting negative numbers, and you do really well with it in your minds. It's fun. Okay, number 3. Now, this time we're going to use negative 2 instead of 2. Negative 2 plus 6. Let's see what that equals using our number line. Well, first, we always put our dot right on 0. That's where we start. Now, our first number says negative 2, so we have to draw our arc down 2 segments or 2 units to negative 2. And then it says our next number says positive 6. It says plus 6, not plus negative 6, plus positive 6. So we're going to start where our arrow left off, and we're going to make 6 dots going up on our number line, starting where our arrow left off. So let's make our 6 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And notice I did not put a dot on negative 2, because if I put a dot there, that would show that we didn't go anywhere yet. So we always put a dot on the next one up, or the next one down from the arrow. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We start from our arrow and we make our arc all the way up to positive 4. And then we put our answer. Negative 2 plus 6 equals positive 4. Now let's take a look at one more with 2 and 6. Now we're going to use both negative numbers. That's going to be pretty cool. Watch. Negative 2 plus negative 6. Let's see what that's going to equal. So we start on our 0 as we usually do. Our first number is negative 2, so we're going to go backwards on the number line, negative 2. Then we're going to go negative 6. It says plus negative 6. That means we still have to go backwards. But we always start where we left off with our arrow. So let's mark 6 more segments or units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we start from our arrow and we make our arc all the way down to -8. Isn't it interesting that 2 plus 6 equals 8, like we have up here? I'll show you in a second when I get this moved to the right place. 2 plus 6 equals 8. And this is interesting, isn't it? -2 plus -6 is -8. So we can see that two negative numbers added together is going to be a negative number because we're going in the negative direction, which means down on our number line, not up. Okay, now let's take a look at the numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to use two different numbers to add and subtract. And we're going to add and subtract negative and positive numbers, just like we've been doing. Let's start with 3. Now I'm going to write that problem I don't have much room right here underneath number 8. Well, that's okay. Underneath number 5, I'll write the problem. When we get to 8, we'll figure that out. So number 5, 3 plus 1. Now that's so easy to do on our number line. We start at 0, we make our arc to 3, then we go one more segment. And we see here's the 3, here's the one more. And we see that our answer is 4. Easy. Now, number 6, 3 plus -1. Interesting. So we're going to start at 0 like we always do. Our first number is 3, so we make our arc to 3, make our arrow, draw our arrow, and then we see our next number is -1. That means we have to go backwards one segment. So we start where we left off, right where this arrow is, and we go back 1. There it is. We don't have to go back very far. And then we draw our arc. We land on the positive number 2. So isn't it interesting that 3 plus -1 is just like 3 minus 1? Did you notice that? Interesting. Number 7. Let's go on to 7. Now we're going to do -3 plus 1. So remember, we start at 0 like usual, and our first number is -3. So we have to make our arc backwards on the number line to -3 because we go down on the number line for negative numbers. Then it says +1. Well, +1 means we've got to go up on the number line. So we start from our arrow where we left off and we go up 1 unit or 1 segment. Then we draw our arc from the arrow. And there we land on -2. And there's our answer. Now let's write our problem for number 8 over here on the right hand side because we don't have room on my screen. I don't have room underneath number 8. So number 8 is going to go right over here. Number 8, we're going to do two negative numbers like we did back up on number 4. -3 plus -1. Let's see what that equals. Now some of you might remember that when we add two negative numbers together, we're still going to get a negative number. We're going to start on 0 as we normally do. Our first number is -3, so we draw our arc back to -3. Then we start where we left off where our arc is, and we go back one more because it says plus -1, so we have to keep going back. So I'll put my dot on one more negative number, or one more going down or left on the number line. And then we draw our arc from where we left off, which is right here. We draw our arc back one segment more, and we can see our answer is -4. So I hope that you had fun doing our lesson today, and I hope that you used your worksheet to draw these arcs. If you didn't have time and I was going too fast, you can always play it again and then fill it in yourself as you go, and use the pause button when you need to. It was great to be with you today, boys and girls. That was a nice short math lesson, and I hope you enjoyed it. God bless you and have a great, great day.